Well, he's in shock and he's in custody, so he's not feeling well in those regards. But he's looking forward to defending this case vigorously, and I expect that at some point in time we will be able to comment and shed some light on the circumstances of the case.
In his physical condition, are you able to speak on that?
He's in fairly poor physical condition. He's receiving medical treatment, but he's in poor physical condition.
He's out of hospital?
He is out of hospital.
Are you pleased with Judge Dixon's ruling regarding the publication?
I am pleased. In my view, it's not that significant of an issue, and people can still get access to the information. It just can't be published at this point in time. And I think it was the right decision and the obvious decision under the criminal code.
Do you want to just enter a plea? I mean, you seem kind of adamant in court that was a step that you wanted to reach.
Well, I actually misspoke when I said bringing it back for a plea. We'll indicate our intentions in terms of a plea, whether it's guilty or not guilty. At this time, I expect that at some point in time there'll be a not guilty plea entered. I said that, though, mistaking the procedure here in New Brunswick, that they would be asking me for some indication. The reality is that we'll be indicating it's going to go to a preliminary inquiry at some point in time, but we can't make that final decision until after we receive the disclosure on the case.
How hard is it to work on a case when you have no clue what the disclosure is?
Well, this is par for the course as a defense lawyer. You receive the information days, weeks, or sometimes months down the road, and so I'm used to being in the dark at the beginning, but we're looking forward to receiving some information so we can begin working on the case.
How did he end up with you as a lawyer?
Well, I was appointed by the government. Okay, I work out of Toronto. My firm is in Toronto, but I also work in St. John and live in St. John now, so.
So you're being paid through legal aid?
I don't know if I should comment on where I'm being paid, but I was appointed by the government.
But on a personal level, why did you accept to defend Mr. Raymond?
Well, I understand that this, as a New Brunswicker, I understand that this case is a tragedy, and of course I can't understand it the way that the victims of the events understand it. And I know full well that the public is very upset about this. At the same time, I understand that the rule of law, the laws in Canada require that every person who's accused of a crime receive the defense of a lawyer who will honestly and diligently advance their side of the story in the case and give that person the benefit of every right or procedure under the law. And so I have no misgivings whatsoever about defending him truthfully and to the extent that the law offers, because otherwise I wouldn't be living up to my obligation to promote the rule of law.
Does the matter automatically go to Queen's Bench from now on?
Well, the preliminary inquiry will be held in the provincial court if there is a preliminary inquiry. A plea will be entered in front of the Court of Queen's Bench at some point in time. At some point, we will indicate what Mr. Raymond's intended plea is, and we'll either request a preliminary inquiry or say that we're not requesting a preliminary inquiry. I expect that his plea will be not guilty and that we'll be requesting a preliminary inquiry, but we can't make that decision until after I receive the disclosure.
Have you ever represented somebody on similar allegations before?
You mean first-degree murder allegations?
First-degree murder, maybe a shooting, 4 victims.
I have represented people in first-degree murder proceedings, as well as shooting proceedings, as well as proceedings that engendered public outrage at the beginning of the case. And so, having done that, I still believe in the rule of law. I still believe that this is the system that our politicians and our democracy has established. And if I were to say I'm going to choose not to represent somebody on a case like this, I'm really disagreeing with the rule of law. And so, as I say, every person charged with an offence, this is not a right just for Mr. Raymond, but every person charged with an offence in Canada has the right to honestly put forward their side of the facts and to obtain any benefit under the law that the law provides for them. And so I don't have any misgivings about doing that.
Does it make you at all uncomfortable?
It doesn't make me uncomfortable to do my job. At the same time, I can say that I will honestly assist my client and I will help him obtain what the law offers for him. At the same time, however, I can feel a sense of sadness and a sense of tragedy for what's happened here. And so my job as an officer of the court doesn't give me any pause, but another side of me certainly feels sorrow for the victims of this event. It's difficult to say how long it will take until I receive the disclosure and I can get a handle on what the issues are, what evidence the police intend to present, what theories the Crown intends to pursue. Once I've been able to do that, I can get a sense of how long it will take. Yes.